Top of the show, we had Shams Charania on talking about all of the coaches that they want to talk to, and all of their requests were denied, from Ime Udoka to Jason Kidd to Chris Finch, now Quinn Snyder. What do you make of the situation happening in New York?
First of all, I don't know why the hell they made a request for Quinn Snyder. Why? For what? I appreciate the job that you once did in Utah, the decent job that you're doing in Indiana and Atlanta to some degree, but my Lord, why? Why make that request? For what? You just got rid of Tom Thibodeau, who took you to back-to-back 50-win seasons and 2 games away from an NBA Finals, and you're going to reach out to request Quinn Snyder? Something's wrong with that picture, no disrespect to him. Chris Finch from Minnesota, another name, I don't understand it. He's never gotten them to the NBA Finals. He can coach, there's no doubt about that, but is he better than Tom Thibodeau? I'm not sure about that. Ime Udoka's a different matter. Coached the Boston Celtics to the Finals in his first year. Jason Kidd's another matter. New York roots, Dallas roots. By the way, just coached them to the NBA Finals last year. Knows how to coach stars, knows how to coach a point guard, and very familiar with Jalen Brunson, who was working under Jason Kidd in Jason Kidd's first year in Dallas. So all of that makes sense. But in the end, the New York Knicks are not as attractive of a job as one would argue they were last season. Why? Because you gave up 5 first-round picks, 4 unprotected, for Mikal Bridges, who's a damn good player. Needs to play better than he did this year, but he's a damn good player. But that ain't Luka. That ain't Kevin Durant. That ain't LeBron. That ain't Steph Curry. That's not him. And you gave up 5 first-round picks, 4 unprotected, so your assets are depleted. And if you're looking at a Knicks team in the same conference as Detroit, as Indiana, as Cleveland, as Orlando, eventually Jason Tatum's coming back to Boston, listen, it's not the most attractive job in the world from a basketball standpoint. Madison Square Garden, New York City, the Mecca, different argument. But in terms of basketball, I'm not sure it's that ideal of a landing spot for everybody. And that's why even though teams rejected their proposals to talk to their coaches, I'm not sure the coaches are that unhappy about it. I don't think Jason Kidd wants to leave Dallas. I don't think Ime Udoka, I certainly know he doesn't want to leave Houston.
Sure.
And that's how I'm looking at it.
Well, that's what we were sort of talking about. And speaking of Leon Rose, in the Knicks announcement, Leon Rose made a statement, Stephen A., and in it he says, our organization is singularly focused on winning a championship for our fans. I'm curious if you think they're a step closer by doing this, by making this move.
No, they're not a step closer. And to be quite honest with you, I think we all as New Yorkers should find Leon Rose's statement offensive. Get the hell in front of a microphone and a camera and answer questions. Stop being a coward, because that's how he's acting. I'm not calling him that as a man or as a person. I'm saying that's how he's been acting as president of the New York Knicks when it comes to communicating with the media and articulating the decisions that you make and why they are being made. This is the problem with the arrogance of the New York Knicks, okay? They deserve credit for what they've achieved. I applaud them for elevating us from basketball purgatory into relevance. I truly, truly believe that. But in the same breath, when you make the potpourri of decisions that you have made, could you have the decency to stand before the media and answer the questions? Stand before the growing public and answer the question. That statement is as weak as it gets. It emanates from a James Dolan-run organization who doesn't want to communicate with the media himself, who never wants to answer any questions, and they get away with it because they don't have to answer to anybody, because they know that Knicks fans are still going to show up at Madison Square Garden, patronizing their product and their brand, and doing everything that they can to make sure that they support the team. The New York Knicks as an organization know that that's coming. They know that you're going to support the Knicks no matter what Leon Rose does, no matter what James Dolan does, and that's why they get away with acting the way that they're acting. Leon Rose has done a damn good job. Nobody can deny that. But it hasn't been a flawless situation. There are moves that could have been made that could have better positioned the New York Knicks to be in a championship situation, the one that they're craving for now. But it hasn't happened. And then you're going to issue some weak-ass statement like we really, really care? I don't care about that damn statement. I want to see Leon Rose stand before the camera and justify firing a man that just took you within 2 games of a berth to the NBA Finals right after you decided to trade picks for a guy that never even made an All-Star. I love Mikal Bridges. I love the fact that he's a member of the team. But the fact of the matter is that he had an up and down year. And when you look at a Luka Doncic being acquired for Anthony Davis at just 1 pick, when you look at some other moves that have been made and it didn't require those level of assets departing, and you give up 5 first-round picks, including 4 unprotected for Mikal Bridges, and that vastly contributes to compromising the vision and the aspirations that you have, stand before the media and answer them damn questions. But we can't expect Leon Rose to do that because since James Dolan has arrived, that's not something that he likes, and Leon Rose seems to fit right in. A matter of fact, one could legitimately argue that his willingness to avoid the media to answer these questions is is just as much of a big reason as to why he got the job as it is the job that he actually did, which has been a pretty damn good job.
And without those explicit answers, Stephen A., that you're calling for, the only way that I'm making sense of this in my own head, and I'm wondering what you think of this, is that the Eastern Conference, people are looking around and saying, if the Pacers can do it, then we can too. And the New York Knicks felt like we were this close. So maybe if we make a little change, because we can't change our starting lineup that much, because we have so much invested in all of these players. That's the way that I'm making sense of this. What about you?
I would hope that one of the other reasons this change is being made is because you got a superstar like Giannis Antetokounmpo that wants to come to New York, and he would have desired changes, and he might have articulated that. That's just wishful fantasy kind of thinking on my part. I have no evidence of that whatsoever. I'm just throwing that in the mix to coincide or piggyback off of what you just articulated. Of course, with the start lineup being what it is, there's very little movement that you can do. OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, all of these guys, Jalen Brunson, what he's getting paid. Mikal Bridges, you brought him here. We get that. Mitchell Robinson, obviously, we get that part too. But in the end, if you're stuck, it's because Leon Rose decided to give up all of those assets. And maybe that's a good enough reason for you to go in a different direction from Tom Thibodeau, because we need a different kind of coach, a coach with a different style. Maybe the players articulated that, you know what, we want to hear a new voice as well because we're tired of playing for Tibbs. We don't know definitively whether or not that was the case, but I can tell you in my experience covering the NBA, that's definitely plausible. Still in all, Leon Rose needs to stand before the media and answer them damn questions for the public because the public has a right to know.
Stephen A., I always appreciate your time. Thank you so much for stopping by, MB.
Dare you. Like, we blaming Tom Thibodeau for that collapse that they had in game one. When the guys on the floor took their foot off the gas when they blew a 20-point lead at home in the Eastern Conference Finals? Are we blaming Tibbs for that? Are we going to blame Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and the guys that contributed to the Pacers coming back and beating them in game one? That's who we need to blame. See, it's hard, right? You have Rick Brunson that's on the bench, who's Jalen Brunson's dad, and I'm taking nothing from Rick Brunson. I love him to death, but I got to call it like it is. You have Jalen Brunson, who is dribbling the oxygen out of the damn basketball on the floor. The Knicks are getting their offense set with 15, 16 to go on the damn shot clock. No one else is getting involved. Karl Anthony Towns ain't really touching the ball in the first quarter. But it's Tibbs' fault? I just can't. I can't
But
ride
someone
with
always
that, y'all.
falls on the sword, and it's unfortunately we know this. It tends to be coaches.
Our Bobby Marks just put on social media. Dolan said there were many times when we've sort of reached for that shiny, sparkly object. Maybe this is what we need, especially when things aren't going well. Let's bring in this guy. Maybe he'll turn it around. Sometimes it's players. Sometimes it's a coach. And then he continues. He said, what I've learned over time is it doesn't work. It really doesn't. You have to build the fundamentals, the basics. You've got to build a team. You've got to build an organization. There is no waving a magic wand over a team and all of a sudden it makes a great team.